Hi, you're listening to It's All in the Cards podcast, a horror fiction podcast where all questions are welcome. But you may not like the answers. Some material may not be suitable for all audiences. Listener discretion is advised.
The thing inside Stephen's body smiles up at me from his place on the floor, back up against the wall. He has enough room to move about 3 feet in either direction, but the world beyond that is lost to him, thanks to the sigil carved into the stone. I've been thinking about our arrangement. I walk slowly around him, staying just out of reach with my lantern. The shadows surrounding him shift and waver, separate from my movement. It seems some of his friends have been by to visit.
So you're willing to release me and join our Dark Lord?
His smile widens beyond what a human face can do, becoming pointed and sharp, teeth like needles in his mouth. I give him a withering look. That will never happen. No, I've decided to offer you a deal. Leave Stephen's body, completely and forever, and in turn I will let you return to your master.
You mean our master?
I ignore the taunt, staring into the depths of his black eyes until he's forced to look away.
I'm quite comfortable here, actually. And our friend Stephen, he's long gone by now. I can't even hear him screaming anymore.
His eyes drop to my side, and I realize I've been scratching at an incessant itch along my ribs. I lay my palm flat against the fabric of my shirt, but there is no hiding what I was doing.
You can feel him. I see. Itching at the inside of your skin, reminding you of your promises. He doesn't forgive so easily, you know.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Even without pupils, I can tell he's rolling his eyes.
I thought we were beyond lies, Jade.
My palm presses harder against my skin, begging the itching to stop for even a moment. It had never felt this bad before, this mind-numbing feeling that no amount of scratching can get rid of.
I can help you make it stop.
I can deal with a little itching, thanks.
You can't ignore the Devil's Seal forever, Jade. Eventually, you will succumb. And the sweet relief of having a master again, of never having to worry about yourself or anyone else, it will be more delicious than you can even comprehend. It washes over you, inside of you, releasing you from worry and expectation, allowing you to be your true self.
My true self isn't evil.
Never say never. But just know that I'm not the only one he'll send. I'm just the first.
I turn to leave, taking the lantern and the light with me so he'll know the terror of being in the dark with Mr. Giggles. Once my foot hit the stairs, though, I knew I couldn't let him win this battle. I need something to scare him. I almost forgot the reason I came down here. I wanted to inform you that you no longer deserve to be called Stephen. If you refuse to get out of his body and give it back to him completely, I'm going to start calling you by a different name.
You'll never know my real name.
Never say never. I've been researching you ever since we met, and I think I'm getting closer to discovering your true name. You know what kind of power a real name has over a creature, especially one of your standing. He startles at that, and I know I've won. It's a gamble, given my lack of actual research so far, but something tells me he isn't a lowly demon in hell circles. The devil would never trust somebody as important as me to an underling.
There are too many of us. It will take hundreds of years of guessing for you to accidentally strike upon the right name, and you and everyone you know will be dust and grime by then.
I lean down to look at him in his blackened eyes. There isn't any fear there, not yet, but there will be. I'll make sure of it. You underestimate me. Regardless, I don't think I can keep calling you Stephen. You have his body, but not his mind or his spirit. Not anymore. Not after what you made him do.
You could just call me nothing. Call me darkness. Call me by your name for all I care.
I'm going to call you Two-Faced Man. It feels fitting.
I have so many more faces than two, Jade.
And I will call each of them by your name before I ever break the seal on my skin. You can count on that.
It's All in the Cards podcast. Season 2, Episode 2. A Break in the Circle.
The room around me is cleaner than my apartment. Lemon and bleach assaults my nose as if someone just threw pine sol in my face. Every surface in here has been recently sanitized. An old stereo in the corner blasts 80s pop hits, and behind me, though I can't see it, a fire crackles and warms my back. This would almost be a perfect place to live, if I wasn't tied up with a murderer standing in front of me.
You're just like her. I tried to help you, but you didn't want my help. But I can't just let you continue down this reckless path.
Funny, I was going to say the same to you. Damien slaps me across the face. As I turn with the force of it, I see bodies that were not there a moment ago. A pile of women smeared in fresh blood. A pool of it on what had been a clean floor. One is close enough that I could reach out and pull her hair from her face. Her long black locks masked one side of her face. Her exposed cheek, burned into a crisp hole, revealed her teeth high back in her jaw. Her eye glossy with death. I turn to face Damien, to throw all my power at him to swallow him down. But something blocks my magic.
You can't use that little trick on me this time. This time, it's just you and me. And this is going to be fun.
His footsteps echo through my head as he walks behind me to the fireplace. I hear metallic scraping, as if he just pulled a sword or a hot poker from the flames.
This is going to hurt. But maybe it'll wake you up to face all the pain you've caused.
The heat of the approaching metal intensifies until the white-hot ping of it on my back forces a scream out of me. I scream until all I am is a scream, my body reduced to nothing but pain. I fling myself up out of bed, still screaming. I'm in my room. Thank God and Goddess I'm in my room. That's another too many dreams of Damien torturing me and killing me like his victims. Why, after a year, am I just now plagued by him? But a creepy feeling sets into my skin, and the itch on my side I've had the last few weeks aches to be scratched. I refuse to do it. If I start scratching, I won't stop. I get up and trudge over to my bathroom for some anti-itch cream. Flicking on the light to apply it, I notice the site has gotten bigger. The streak of redness that's hot to the touch dips from my ribs down into my side, making its way to my back. Great. Just what I need. I get ready for today and pocket some anti-itch cream. By the time I make it down to the shop, Sam is there prepping the morning java. She looks up when she hears me walk in.
Good morning. I've got it strong this morning. It's ready for your little touch.
Sam has paid way too close attention in the mornings and noticed more people bought things when they had a cup of coffee or a drink I made, so she knows exactly what my little touch is. She scolded me a little, but then I got her to see it my way. That since I suck at selling myself, I let my spells do it for me. Besides, it's a persuasion spell, not a compulsion spell. I do have my own limits. I drop my bag behind the counter and head over to her, rolling up my sleeves so I don't drench them in coffee as I perform the spell. Before I reach the coffee, though, books fall from somewhere towards the back of the store. I turn to look, but it must have come from behind the shelves because I don't see anything out of place. Is someone already shopping? I look at the large clock over the front counter, but it's just barely 8. There's no way someone's itching for a witchy book this early in the morning. Sam scurries past me towards the noise, throwing her answer over her shoulder.
I must have left a pile of the new astrology books out last night. I can't believe they're just now falling over. I'll go clean it up.
I shake my head at the excuse, but don't call her out on it. Not yet. Whatever's going on, she'll have to come to me for help with it eventually. Pouring myself an uncharmed cup first, I set about putting the spell on the remainder in the pot. By the time I'm done, Sam's back. Her face settles into a semblance of neutral calm. Whatever she's hiding, it's a big one.
What's the plan for today?
I look over at her. The plan's to run the store. Put away inventory, clean up messes, maybe do a reading if one comes in.
So the same thing we do every day?
It's a business, Sam, not a lifestyle. Sometimes it's just going to be a little repetitive.
But I can do so much more than just run a register. Why don't we advertise for paranormal investigations or for more readings or anything. We could be actively going out to find people to help instead of waiting for them to come to us.
I take a sip of my coffee, hoping the comforting burn as it slides down my throat stops the vicious retorts that keep flying through my mind. It's a little too early to fight, but I just can't help myself. Why are you so intent on helping people? Do you not realize how awful they are? They're not worth the time, energy, or blood that it takes to help them. Trust me, I know. I start to turn away, but her next words stop me in my tracks.
You helped me.
Excuse me?
You taught me tarot and are helping me learn about other magical paths. You never turn down the nomination even though you keep saying you will. Why else would you want to be High Priestess if not to help people?
I smile. For the power, for the knowledge, for the ability to get my revenge and turn the coven into what it should have been from the beginning. That's not helping people, that's helping me.
I don't believe you. I think you like helping people. I think you were hurt by people before and you pushed them away to protect yourself, but deep down, you have always wanted to belong and to have a purpose.
And you think my purpose should be helping people?
I think you're already helping people. You're just doing it in small ways so you don't have to admit it to yourself. I'm not afraid to admit that I want to help people, though.
Before I can respond to that, the bells over the front door jingle. Sam and I turn as one to look at the customers who have unwillingly walked into a fight. A man and a woman, both looking lost and out of their element in the store. The man's tall, with a faded side and long on the top haircut that probably cost over $100, while the woman has the perfectly crafted lowlights of a natural blonde. They look like catalog models, pulled directly from J. Crew. I muster up as much warmth in my voice as I can this early in the morning. Welcome to Which Way Between the Lines. How can we see for you today? The couple looks at each other, nerves clearly frazzled by the question. As if by agreement, the man takes a step forward.
Hi, we were wondering if we could get a tarot reading.
Are you an avid country music listener? Join me, Miss Helen, and producer Kyle on the Texas Toast podcast, where we talk with some of country music's biggest stars, like Parker McCollum, Josh Abbott, and Pat Green, as well as my favorite part, new upcoming performers and songwriters like Dylan Gossett and Braxton Keith. We learn all about their journeys into music and what makes them tick, along with never-before-heard stories about the making of their songs. Join us every Tuesday and Friday wherever you get your podcasts, and you might just learn about your new favorite artists.
I turn to Sam, the smile falling from my face. You want to help people? Start with them.
On my own, I
walk towards the back of the store, leaving Sam with her new customers. If she wants to be helpful to society, I'll leave her to it. I'll just stay back and watch through the stacks. Maybe I'll start selling popcorn in the store so I can have a snack as she crashes and burns.
can help you with that. Is there a specific question that you have in mind?
Sam leads them to the front window, where her own table has been set up. Good. She isn't about to use my reading room. The couple exchanges another glance as they follow her, worry passing between them.
It's kind of a weird situation, so we're not really sure what to ask.
Why don't you tell me a little about yourselves and then we can get into what's been going on that has led you to want a reading?
Sam is very professional, I have to admit. Immediately, the woman begins smiling.
My name is Jana, and this is Spencer. We just got married. Gosh, was it already 4 months ago? I still can't believe it.
She flashes her left hand at Sam, and even from the back of the store I can see the light catch the enormous diamond ring on her finger. Oh, Spencer, you may have spent too much money on that rock.
Did something happen at the wedding that made you uneasy?
Oh, no, the wedding was perfect. All of our friends and family were there, and we had an amazing photographer to remember the evening. I really wouldn't change a thing about our wedding. It was a dream.
With that, she gazes adoringly at her new husband, clearly too smitten to remember why they're here. Sam, helpfully, brings her back to earth.
So when did whatever is wrong start?
Her hand drops as if the weight of the ring is bringing it down.
A few weeks ago? See, it's our toaster.
Well, if I had a bet placed on what this reading would involve, that would have lost me all of my money.
Is it an older toaster?
See, that's the thing. It's brand new. We actually got an old one for our wedding, and it was super cute. His grandma got it as a gift when she and his grandpa got married, and she gave it to his aunt on her wedding day, and she gave it to us for ours. But it doesn't really fit with the theme of our house, you know. But we obviously couldn't get rid of it because his grandpa passed away a few years ago, and it's such a sweet and sentimental gift. So we put that one in the basement and got a brand new one with some of the wedding money.
Sam begins shuffling her deck, taking in the story.
So what is happening with the new on-theme toaster?
It burns everything. It doesn't matter how low I have it set. It burns it. I lost half an English muffin in there the other day, so I unplugged it to get it out. You know, safety first. But as soon as I got my hand in there to grab it, the stupid thing turned on. It almost left a scar.
She waved her non-ringed hand, and I could see the light red lines of a burn across the back.
Did you try returning it? Maybe that one is defective.
We did. The new one did the same thing.
We went through 6 toasters. Different brands, different styles. We even got a cheap plastic covered one, hoping that maybe it was the stainless steel on the others that was causing the malfunction. Each one has had problems. Burning, popping sockets. One vibrated so much that it fell off the counter and smashed. We, weren't able to return that one.
So it's definitely the toaster. Did you try using the old one again?
Only while we were in between toasters. Each time we got a new one, we put that one away.
So the old one still works, but every new one you bring into the house malfunctions?
Yes.
She seems relieved that Sam actually gets it.
Sounds like you have a toaster problem.
That's why we're here. Can you help us? Is there some kind of curse on us to make us not have a nice toaster ever again?
Let's see what the cards say.
Sam does one last shuffle of her deck before laying a card down on the table.
10 of Cups, that's a good one.
What does it mean?
10 of Cups is all about happiness and dreams coming true. Fulfillment in your life. This is probably about your relationship and how happy you two are together now.
I hold in a scoff as I watch the newlyweds turn adoring eyes on each other. Everyone wants to believe their love is true love, because true love means you don't have to work on your relationship ever again. Bullshit.
If that's so good, then why are all of our toasters freaking out on us?
We still got a few more cards to pull. Be patient.
Sam flips over the next card, laying it carefully on the table beside the 10 of Cups.
This one is interesting.
I'm dying to know what the card is, but I won't give Sam the satisfaction of knowing I've been listening to her reading. I want her to really think this is sink or swim, because someday it will be. And really, how bad could her advice be in this situation?
He looks like a priest or something. Is a ghost mad at us that we weren't married in a church? I told you your grandma would be mad that we got married in the gardens instead of an actual church.
Hierophant. Interesting.
No. It's probably not that. See, the card is upside down. That means it has a different meaning.
So what does it mean?
Well, it means a break from tradition, like you're rebelling. So maybe it is about the church. Is your family really religious? Would they be upset about not getting married on consecrated ground?
No, I don't think so. I mean, my grandparents were married in a church, but my parents weren't, and there weren't any issues with the family. At least not that I know of.
So it might not have been an issue for everyone else, but maybe someone like your grandma expected a return to tradition with your marriage.
Maybe. I don't know. It doesn't seem like something she'd be so mad about that she would haunt us. She always liked me more than my cousins.
Maybe she expected more from you and she's upset about how your wedding turned away from her traditions.
I guess.
I roll my eyes from behind the shelves. Sam is not being very convincing with this theory.
Let's see what the last card has to say about everything.
As she's laying down the last card, something brushes up against my leg. There, wrapped around my ankles like she belongs to me, is a cat. She looks up at me with blue-green eyes and lets out a soft sound, more like a meow than a real meow. Ah, so that's what Sam's been so secretive about. She's brought in a stray. I bend down to stroke the cat, and she arches against my head, purring. Her white fur is long and soft, giving her a sweet look that melts a bit of my anger at Sam for hiding her from me.
The Two of Pentacles is about choices. It sounds like you can have another ceremony in a church, so you'll be married before God. Or you can live without toast for the rest of your life.
I'm trying to get off bread.
Well, I'm not. And I'm not having a whole other wedding to make a ghost happy. Are you sure this is even gonna fix it?
That's what the cards seem to be saying.
Goddess, this kid can't be serious. I give the cat one last pat before walking out of the shadows and towards the couple, who both seem to be unsure about Sam's reading. It's not about the church. All three of them startle at my voice, but Sam's surprise turns to irritation.
Should have known you'd been eavesdropping. The boss can't help herself, friends.
I had to make sure you weren't giving my paying customers bad advice. It's not about the church. It's about the toaster.
Well, yeah, that's why we're here. All of the toasters are haunted.
Not all of them. Just one. The wedding gift. They both look at me like I'm crazy, but I push on. I know this is right. I can't believe they can't see it for themselves. You got a very thoughtful wedding gift, one that belonged to your grandmother, who lived a seemingly happy life with her family, all full of love. I tap the tin of cups meaningfully. Happiness, family, love, and community. That's what this card is, and that's what the toaster symbolized for your grandma. She was happy to pass it along to you because she had so many happy memories in her kitchen, feeding her family and filling them with love. My hand slides to the reverse Hierophant. Unnecessary rebellion against tradition. You chose to put the toaster away and never use it because the aesthetic was off. You turned your back on the gift of love from your grandmother, and she is rightly pissed about it. And now you have a choice. Live with the toaster, at least until it dies, or live without toast. You don't have to do a whole other ceremony to please a dead relative. You just have to be thankful for the thoughtful gift that was passed to you. Turning to Sam, I add another jab. And I know about the cat. You're lucky she's cute, otherwise you'd both be out of here. I let Sam drive me to her grandmother's house. My side still hurts from laughing at the absurdity of what we just witnessed at the store. And sometimes it's nice to be in the passenger seat. Once we get to her grandmother's house, I step out of the car and make for the tree line.
Hey, wait, we could all walk together.
I turn around long enough to look at Sam and then glare at Maureen's house. I picture it in flames. 4 classes later, you keep asking, and my answer stays the same. You can walk with me, or you can wait on them. I walk slowly, waiting for Sam to make up her mind. The slamming of the screen door tells me she's went in, but then a second slam indicates she's only telling them what she's doing. She catches up to me a little out of breath, but recovers and falls into a good rhythm with me as we make our trek through the woods.
You know, this hateful act is going to have to let up if you become High Priestess.
Just another reason not to do so.
You know the idea is tempting. You could remake the coven the way you want it, the way your mother...
Don't. I spit as much venom as I can muster into that one word. She's been using that angle ever since I went to the first class and showed some actual interest in being High Priestess. I try to remember that she's only a child that had nothing to do with that night, but that doesn't mean she gets to try to use my mother against me. Especially when some days, I want to forsake everything my mother ever wanted for me. I'll stop my hateful act when you tell me the secret about my mother.
I told you I can only reveal so much.
You've revealed nothing yet.
Okay, that's true too.
We have time now. Sam's quiet for a moment. I let the silence follow us for several yards. I'm about to do the adult thing and change the subject when finally she gives me a nugget of truth.
She closed everyone out of the circle. No one was able to help her.
I bite back the denial that immediately jumps to my tongue. Sam has no reason to lie. She's still trying to earn my trust back. Still, I can't help but to want to taste her energy to see if she's lying. I unlock one shield to read her as we walk, my energy drifting on the breeze to reach out and feel Sam. But it hits an invisible wall, hard enough I stop walking. Not only is my energy shut down, but it's jolted as a warning to not try again. It pisses me off, so I push harder. The barrier around Sam holds solid as a balloon, purposely giving some to save its only surface from breaking. But if you have a sharp enough point, you can pop it. As I prod, the magic tries to fight me off, the bite of its energy crawling up my arms as I fight to break it. The tension of the moment breaks with a sound of glass cracking. Sam stops and looks down at her neck. She pulls up chain from beneath her blouse and reveals a crystal charm with several cracks running through it. She looks at me as I recover.
You tried to taste my energy, didn't you? To see if I was telling the truth?
I have no good response, so I just shrug. What did Roz give you for protection?
Cut the crap! After everything we've been through, you really still don't trust me? It's not surprising. I'm sure old habits die hard. After all the times you've shoved energy at me to make me feel the way you wanted me to, well, no more.
No more, huh? Pretty sure without that charm you're defenseless now. Did your Auntie Roz create it for you?
How do you know it wasn't just a warning sign for me to put my shields up?
Because your aunt thinks she needs to protect you with her own magic. She's a fool. A charm is a poor excuse even for someone like you who knows nothing about shielding.
She had to do something for me. It wasn't like you were jumping at the chance to show me how to shield.
I thought you liked to be self-taught.
You knew I came to you for more than tarot. I wanted to learn more about the craft from you specifically because we were both energy vampires. If anyone could teach me the best way for me to shield, it would be you. I don't know why I ever nominated you for High Priestess.
With every word, Sam's power flares out unbiased to the surroundings, including me. She manages to flick me with her power, but my shields are locked tight. Her power is still impressive. I ignore the insults and keep pushing. I'd be better than your aunt, that's for damn sure. She's done nothing to teach you how to control your power. Just more charms to suppress it? That's where my mother and my aunt went wrong as well. My aunt begged for me to have the charms on at all times. My mother used them more on a case-by-case basis depending on how my emotions were. Both ways delayed actual control of my power. Some of Sam's anger dissipates as a new question comes to her.
You didn't agree with what your mother did?
There are many things I didn't agree with that my mother believed. But as a teenager who loved her mother, I still followed her word and prodded when I could. Much like you do.
Thank you for sharing that. How about this? You teach me how to shield, and once I have the basics down, if you can break my shields, then you can get whatever truth it is you wanted from me.
I have your permission to read whatever I want in your memories?
Anything. Not like I could keep you from seeing everything once you break my shields, right? Right?
One thing at a time, kid. We have a deal. But first, let's survive tonight's boring lesson. I continue our walk through the woods to the circle. Sam sighs contently.
You know the lessons of history are never boring?
No. They're worse. They're painful. And it takes every ounce of energy I have not to snap. I skipped out on the last lesson because I already knew the origins of the coven. But I know this next history lesson will include more recent history, and there's no way I'm missing that. A couple of the newbies are there before we are. Their circle is physically drawn with several large rocks, some boulders that serve as a backdrop for the High Priestess, but most you can step on or over. A true circle of magic has not been raised yet. They won't raise it until everyone's here.
Will you be good if I go mingle?
I'm always good.
If you were always good, we wouldn't be in this situation.
You got me there. Go talk to your friends. I'll be fine. Sam still hesitates to leave me alone, but finally goes. Rachel is usually here for me to talk to, but she texted me earlier to give a heads up that she wouldn't be in attendance tonight. She's been the main buffer so far to help keep my anger in check. A reminder to be good. Sam does the same thing, but she's a kid. It's hard to want to listen to her when my anger flares. I have to tread lightly tonight. The neophytes are still split on their opinions of me, so until I decide one way or the other on what to do with this coven, I've got to make sure I have options. It would be so easy to just make them all fear me and be done with it. But Sam's right. The idea of shaping the coven into what I want is tempting. The group quiets as Maureen and Ross step out of the woods. Maureen looks a little worse for wear, her face paler than usual, and her kempt hair looking like she didn't even brush it today. But she still holds a smile on her face. Once they cross the threshold of the circle, the newbies know to begin closing it. Roz sits down her pack of goodies while Maureen joins us in the ritual. Yes, I said we. If I'm going to do this, I'm committing to doing all of it. Once the circle's closed, we take a seat as Roz addresses us. This is new. Usually Maureen leads the lessons.
Good evening, ladies. Thank you for joining us for another lesson. My mother is under the weather this evening, so she will take roll while I answer any questions from last week's lesson you may have thought of and lead tonight's lesson. No questions? Okay, then we can start the overview. Last week we talked about the origins of our coven. For those of you unable to attend last week, the important thing to know is that our roots were originally in Christianity, and that the founders would not use the term witch for themselves. Instead, they used terms like healers or blood stoppers. They could do so much more than this. but in service to the community, that was what they were known for. But in recent history, there was a transition from serving the community in the name of Christ and moved toward being followers of Hecate. We had to decide not only to walk a different path, but also how to walk that path. There are many followers of Hecate, all with their own practices. We spoke about Emma Albright being the spark for the transition, but it was my mother who fought for the path we now follow.
I straighten up and feel Sam's gaze on me, but Roz seems to be intentionally avoiding looking my way. I have heard this story 100 times growing up, how my mother led the transition to Hecate's path, how she fought to embrace the green thumb of the Ozark mountain magic as the center of worship. Maureen had wanted to keep to only the old ways of working the craft, but just switching the deities. Just like how Christians kept some pagan rituals as they converted people to Christ, Maureen thought she could simply relabel things. Mom showed her that could not be the case if they wanted to move away from the structure their parents had followed. They wanted their own path.
My mother fought against those who wanted to follow a bit of a darker path to Hecate. As you'll learn in the worship-focused classes, Hecate is a goddess of many talents, including necromancy. Emma had wanted to dive into the realm of the dead and focus on some other key green magic areas that Maureen and a number of the coven disagreed with. There were some that agreed with Emma, and the coven almost splintered over it, but...
That's a lie. All eyes turn to me. Concern and excitement stirs in the air. Roz gazes expectantly at me. Did she set me up? Is she trying to get a rise out of me? I take a deep breath, fighting to compose myself. If all the group sees of me is my fury, my option to be High Priestess flies out the window. Still, I won't have them spread lies about my mother. Had they been staining her image all this time? A bit of my anger seeps back into me at that thought, but I wait for Roz to respond.
I do not spread lies to my pledges, Jade. If you would like to offer a different perspective on this topic, we would, of course, welcome it.
There is no perspective, only facts. My mother didn't want to practice necromancy. My mother persuaded the coven to stop hiding behind Christianity and embrace all of their gifts in full. I've stoked the flame in Roz. She's fighting now, much like I fight to control myself. But I have more to lose than she does. Maybe that's why I see the decision to push back on her face. She's choosing violence tonight.
Your mother!
Rosalind!
Maureen steps forward and stops her daughter. Why? Just to stop us from bickering in front of the circle? Or is there more to it than that? Roz turns away and trudges as far away from me as possible without running into the circle of protection. Maureen raises both hands in front of her belly, palms facing me in surrender.
We are not here to fight, and we are not trying to slander anyone. But we are recounting what happened in our circles.
Circles that my mother led. Circles where necromancy was never a topic of discussion except when a new member would broach the subject. It was quickly shot down.
And your mother is the reason why, yes. But there is more to the story than she has told you.
Lies!
We will not have this discussion here, Jade. You will let us finish our lesson with no more interruptions. If you have a complaint about how the lesson is told, you can speak to us after the circle.
And let you plant false information into the minds of these pledges? I don't think so. If I hear a lie, I will call it out.
Rosalind, bring me the cane.
The dutiful daughter does as her mother says. In the seconds it takes her to do it, my anger is dampened by my doubt. I turn my head enough to look at Sam. Did you know?
I thought you knew.
My doubt and my pain and my anger all fight for attention. Maureen grips the cane and charges it with her energy. It blazes to life in the white glow of her power.
Ask me again.
Maureen would not let herself be made a fool in front of her pledges. That just leaves one option. Me looking like the fool.
Ask me again, Jade, or leave this alone for now.
You're forgetting the third option.
What's that?
I drop my shields. My power bursts across the circle, startling the group, knocking several of them over. Sam holds strong beside me, shaking her head, but I will not let her influence me right now. I'm too deep into the never-ending well that is my pain. Until next lesson, friends. I turn, my pain raw in my power, no longer shielded but ready to lash out at anyone who dared touch me. No one here is stupid enough to do so, but I need the power to leave as well, to do something stupid myself. I walk through the circle of protection. It catches me like a net at first, but it doesn't take long for my power to burn away. My pain, strong enough to undo the work of a whole coven. Good to know I have it in me.
There she goes, my friends. Your would-be high priestess.
I would turn around and hit Rosalind Beckett with everything I have, if it weren't for the tears streaming down my face. Instead, I march on, less certain of who my mother was, and who I am, than I have ever been. Forget how she died. Now, I don't even know how she lived.
This episode of All in the Cards podcast was written by Ashley McAnelly and Morgan Valko. Theme music composed by ThaArsonist and performed by Veronica Stonebreaker. Featuring the voice talents of Ashley McAnelly, Scott Thomas, Jessica McEvoy, Nichole Goodnight, Naomi Richards, Allontè Barakat, Erin Lillis, and Atticus Jackson. We would like to give a shout out to our newest Patreon subscribers: Roslyn Urena, Nick, Lisa Watts, Nikki Joe Johnson, Naomi Richards, Sergeant Twan, Elliot W. James, and Travis B. If you too would like to support the show, you can join our Patreon and get ad-free episodes, early access, and exclusive bonus content, including the spin-off series The Deck of the Eternals, a Patreon exclusive to our Celtic Cross Spread subscribers. Part 1 is out now. To find out more about our podcast, please visit us at www.it'sallinthecardspodcast.com. And be sure to check us out on Facebook at It's All in the Card Podcast and Twitter at It's All in the Card. Links in the show notes. It's All in the Cards podcast may not be suitable for all listeners. Discretion is advised.